that's a lot better. There we go, I can hear myself. So I studied hospitality management in Switzerland for 4 years and had the opportunity to work both in the kitchen and serving food to guests in the large kitchen operation and being asked to waste a lot of food. And 3 years ago, I joined Winnow. At Winnow, we developed digital tools to help chefs run more profitable and sustainable kitchens by cutting their food waste in half. Most recently, last Friday, we released some groundbreaking technology, which we believe will revolutionize the kitchen of the future, both commercially and environmentally. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. But first, I'm going to talk about a few of our wonderful users. This is Kristen. She works at the IKEA in Eindhoven. When you think about IKEA, you might think about flat pack furniture. But you'd be surprised to know that they serve 650 million customers every year in their restaurants. At IKEA in Eindhoven, it's no different. They serve thousands of people. During rush hours or during peak times, for example, All Saints holiday, while Belgians will cross the border to have breakfast at IKEA. Their most famous dish is the Swedish meatball, and they serve over 1 billion of them every year in their restaurants. We've been working with them since 2015. Another one of our customers is Morrison's. Morrison's is one of the largest supermarket chains in the United Kingdom. They serve their cafes serve family-friendly foods, and they're most known for their fish and chips, and they won the Best Fish and Chips Award in Britain. They hand batter and fry 73,000 portions every week. And this is Vijaya. Vijaya is the head chef of the Armani Hotel in Dubai. The Armani Hotel was nominated the most luxurious hotel in the world back in 2016, and it sits in the largest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa. It has 7 restaurants, from fine dining to Italian to sushi to Vijaya's very own Indian cuisine. So, what do these very different kitchens all have in common? 3 things really. First, they all love to serve delicious food to their guests. Also, they're all very busy kitchens and work in very hard environments. And finally, they all waste food. Not because they're lazy or they're bad at their job, but simply because they lack the necessary tools to accurately pinpoint where food is happening in their organization. And most recently, they all took a step into the future to use artificial intelligence with Winnow for the first time to track what's happening in their bin. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. As you know, 1/3 of food produced for human consumption is wasted. We all love food, we all hate to waste food, and yet we throw away $1 trillion worth every year. In the hospitality industry, that's estimated to be $100 million every year. And at Winnow, rather than seeing this as a problem, we see this as an opportunity. And we exist to help the industry capture this opportunity. This is done by connecting the commercial kitchen to create a movement of chefs to inspire others to see that food is too valuable to be wasted. We started back in 2013, and I'm now working with the largest name in food in over 40 countries, and we're also a B-certified corporation. So we're not only reporting on our financial figures, but also on our environmental impact. So working with, a bit off the slide, but working with thousands of kitchens, we probably sit on the largest database for food waste in the hospitality sector. And from this, we can drive a lot of insights. A chef will tell you, I don't waste food. But we can see that from all the food they purchase, they waste on average between 4 and 10% of what they buy. In a typical P&L scenario, a chef will budget between 3 and 5% to food loss and waste. But our data shows that over 80% of restaurants actually waste more than that 5%, sometimes up to 20%. Digging deeper in the data, we can pinpoint where the opportunities lies to make savings and understand what the waste profiles are in kitchens. There's really 2 types of kitchens: kitchens that cook to order or kitchens that prepare their food in advance. For the large operations that prepare their food in advance, to put it up on a buffet, 70% of the waste happens before it even reaches the customer's plate. For cook-to-order restaurants, the profile is a bit different. Waste happens because you're overstocking your fridge to supply the demand when you need to, or at the plate, the customer's level, plate waste. Food waste has always been an issue in the industry. it's always known, it always happens. Traditional methods, using pen and paper, asking someone to sit by the bin, are not very effective and lead to very messy data and unreliable data. Imagine a chef reporting 1,000 euros in week 1 and 900 in week 2. How are you to know that that 10% dip is an actual reduction in food waste or just them reporting 10% less food waste, forgetting to report something? And with all of these challenges, it's understandable that kitchens still waste up to 20% of what they buy. At Winnow, we've been thinking, what if we could give artificial intelligence to chefs to help fight food waste? What if we could use the technology that's already in other parts of their business for customer acquisition or inventory management? What if we could use that technology, give it in their hands, and help them understand their food waste issue? Artificial intelligence computer vision is a field of artificial intelligence. It's the science of computers that can see. It's used in many industries, such as NASA, to navigate a rover on Mars, or the auto industry that's putting autonomous vehicles on the road. When we started at Winnow, we wanted to integrate this technology in what we did, but it wasn't there yet. But since 2016, computer vision models have evolved very quickly, and computer vision models are easier to train. In this example, a computer would not only see a cheetah, it would see a female cheetah sitting in a green grass field. Computers can now see, and we can use this to solve problems in our everyday lives. Our journey using this technology started in 2017 with IKEA, one of our closest partners. It was very rudimentary, a simple motion camera taped to a rig. We just wanted to see if it was possible to take pictures during the day, put it into a model, and train a computer vision model to recognize food waste. In the computer's eyes, as you can see, it detects what was added to the bin and compares it to what it already knows. Makes suggestions based on color pixels and shapes, and gives you a suggestion to what it believes it is. For example, this is meatballs, or it compares fries to sweet potato fries. After much training, we're happy to finally, much trial and error, we're happy to finally have our product, which is called Winnow Vision. It is comprised of a scale that sits under the bin that measures the weight of the waste that's going to waste. It sends the information to a tablet above it, which has a motion camera on it. During the training phase, the user will throw away their food and categorize their waste on the screen. This will train the model to recognize the food they're throwing away. All this to get to the automation phase, where full kitchen automation, where the user will just simply have to throw the food away, and the system will capture the weight, but also what the food is. So this is some output of our work with IKEA. You have a few columns here. You have a before and after column, a detected change column, which is the difference between the two, and the overlay change, which is what the computer vision model uses to understand what type of food it is. On the first line, you have someone that threw away fish and chips, and the computer vision model is smart enough to not only say this is fish or this is chips, it is a dish, fish and chips, and associate the right cost to that. In the second line, you have some piri-piri chicken. To me, it just seems like a piece of chicken, but the computer vision model, thanks to the coloring, will know that it's specifically piri-piri chicken. And finally, in the last line, you have a very complex picture, and the system can detect every piece of cake that was thrown away and tell you that was almond cake. And even more specifically, almond cake with dime. So when we started, the computer vision model wasn't perfect. It would get it right half of the time. Our experience shows that in a kitchen, when staff uses this type of technology, when they categorize, they get around 75% accuracy. They can forget to categorize something or miscategorize something for it to be a certain type of chicken. Now we're happy to say it's been 18 months and the computer vision model gets it right over 80% of the time, better than humans in the kitchen. So what can you do with this more accurate and more reliable data? Well, chefs can use it to pinpoint where waste is happening in their operation, where they're losing money, and where they can make changes to make those savings and reduce their food waste. It's been shown that kitchens that use this method of tracking what's going to waste will reduce on average their waste by 40 to 70% in the first year. This food waste reduction journey happens in 3 phases. The first is identifying big wins, things that you can change quickly in your operation. When those are taken care of, you can go into identifying further efficiency gains, smaller things that you can change in your operation. And finally, being able to measure on a day-to-day and having visibility on your operation lets you maintain those low level of wastage, even through seasonality, menu changes, and high staff turnover. Reducing your food waste in half in hospitality is transformational for a business. Overall, kitchens working with us are saving $30 million a year from avoiding their food waste. It can change from $5,000 for smaller operations to winning $30,000, or saving $30,000 in larger operations, or even more for cruise ships, for example. We're working in over 1,300 kitchens in 40 countries, translated in 15 languages, and working in the biggest names in food globally. We have a sustainability development goal of reducing our food waste by 50% by 2030. The technology is there to help us get there, and we believe leaders need to adopt this technology to help us reach those goals. They need to connect their kitchen to the future to help us get there.